First off, I think it's important and crucial to state that this game is in beta, closed beta at that, so anything missing or broken will not be mentioned as a negative and will be instead be stated as feedback for Nexon to refer to. Thankfully they do listen, so there's that. Secondly, this game has been in development for a while, but for those who weren't accepted into this closed beta, just trust me, know that it exists. I'm here to help everyone experience a sort of first look, and I say sort of because there were a couple of closed betas back, like about a year ago, but by the time that those came and went, I didn't really have this channel format for long, so I didn't want to bet on them. Now, let's dive into the game. For those that are unaware, which might actually be a lot of you, KartRider is a kart racing series published by Nexon, a South Korean Japanese company. If you haven't heard of them, it doesn't surprise me. They're not the biggest in the West, but in South Korea they're the largest video game publisher and in general are the third largest in all of Asia, excluding Japan, just behind Tencent and NetEase. They're notable for games like MapleStory, Konosuba, Fantastic Days, and of course, KartRider. Their games are usually free to play with some sort of microtransaction or other form of income for them, but it's not in your face about it, it's more like a recommendation than a shove. While they have experience developing PC and mobile games, or rather publishing them, they don't have any games on console, really. It was either because they were usually so open-ended that they needed more than a controller, or because they were so simple they just wouldn't work on console. But there's something special about Drift. It finds the sweet spot between console and PC, and is not too simple to be just a mobile game either. Drift is a console and PC game, and while the controls are simple enough to work on both, the gameplay works perfectly, and the depth of the stages, characters, and aesthetic surprisingly click together, and I believe in Nexon to deliver on their promises. So far, what I've been playing from this current closed beta, they delivered on so much and show that they are working on even more to add. Basically, Nexon is making sure that they're delivering on their word, and this proves it. But enough gushing about the publisher, let's talk about those promises. First up, the promise of no paywalls and nothing pay to win. Really quick, I want to say I was not paid to talk about this game, I did this by my own will. They kept their promise. All microtransactions are optional and for cosmetics only. Everything in this game is based on pure skill, so if you lose, then just practice some more. It's entirely skill-based and not some cheap crap like other games that use this format. For example, Fortnite. In Fortnite, you don't pay to win exactly, but the matchmaking is constantly unbalanced, and if you're outmatched, you're screwed. Meanwhile, in KartRider Drift, if you're outmatched, you still have a chance as long as you play it smart and outmaneuver your opponents. Once you figure that out, you do great in this game and have a fun time. So they did deliver on not needing to pay for anything, but they did show off a new feature in this version, the Racer Pass, which is like the Battle Pass in Fortnite. Although I'd probably pay for it here, it's not the best of ideas. They're far from the first developers to use this and are honestly just a bit late to the party. Again though, you're not obligated to get it whatsoever, which is a good thing. Next up, the skill-based matchmaking. And I should issue a fair warning here, I couldn't exactly see this myself, but that's because with the closed beta, there's only a small handful of people that could play it. For both the sake of comedy and for showing exactly how long it takes during a closed beta to matchmake, let me just show you in real time. that was almost 2.5 minutes. Just so you can feel my pain here. I'm going to demonstrate another long one down the line in this video, but that's how long it takes on average. So I can't tell if they actually implemented this or not. But even if they don't explicitly mention it, or it's not probably in the closed beta, it's coming either way. When it comes to the promise of consistent new content, again, there's nothing really there yet, but Nexon does do something interesting with the closed beta. They rotate different things you can use during the entire closed beta period, which is usually about a week. One day you can use a specific card, the next day a specific character. This is honestly smart because not only does it encourage daily play, but it also showcases the players everything new during this time. It's important to note though that this only lasts during the period of the closed beta, and it doesn't carry over into the full game. So just because you unlock it in the closed beta doesn't mean it's yours yet. Cross-platform is also here, but I don't got any friends, so honestly all I can say here is, yeah, it's here, it's random too, so have fun. Now, we need to talk about the characters they showed off. They are freaking adorable! One of them is Dao, who kinda reminds me of Bomberman for some reason. He wants to be the best racer there is, and he gives it his absolute best. Bozzy is a whole mood, and really doesn't care about the outcome. They just do what they want. Their skills are understated, however, and for the last closed beta, I mained them and kept on nailing every single race. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage, nor do I have Bozzy this time around, so I can't really, you know. Anyway, and the newer one is Marid, although I haven't unlocked her, so I can't really say much about her. The whole cast of characters, though, has one specifically for you, even with a roster of currently, I think it's like 10 racers, and they are so damn cute. As for when the game is supposed to be released, we don't know that part. Yeah, one of the bigger problems with this game, aside from some other smaller things, is that we have no idea when it's releasing. Last year when I participated in the closed beta, the release date was supposed to be around November of that year. Then it was pushed to 2021, and then nothing. From October 2020 to October 2021, ironically, there was no word about development. There were some new things here and there about new characters and stuff, but nothing about development in progress. And then, once October 2021 hit, there was nothing but new updates. But after a year of near dead silence, we received word that the game is approaching closed beta 3 and anticipated for 2022. When? No idea, but hopefully we get it because this is a really fun game, like genuinely fun. Really quick, I just want to say this last part's unscripted, but I've been stuck on this segment for like a week now, and oh god, this is the most irritating part I've ever had to do with this freaking game. Like, the info segment is just, I had to go digging through the devlogs for this. This game looks amazing. It's very high in detail when it comes to the visuals, but it doesn't make you feel like anything's out of place. It's sharp and organized, the UI is simple but effective, and the races are, without going on to another detailed tangent like I did with Immortals Fenyx Rising, extremely high in detail without giving me war flashbacks of Jump Force. Anyway, I would go so far as to say, visually, this game rivals Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I promise you, this footage does not do the game justice. As far as I know, it is way better to experience. But here's the best part. Running this game on PC won't break the bank. My PC is notoriously not good. But even I can run it on max without a single hiccup in the game whatsoever. It ran at a perfect 60 FPS for me all the way through. That's more than even Fortnite could claim, and I run that game on medium. They run on the same engine. How does KartRider Drift do a better job at optimization than Fortnite? It's Epic's engine! Continuing on though, I do have one gripe with the graphics, or rather the visuals of the game. I didn't even realize there was a freaking minimap until like my 4th race in this beta. And no, I'm not kidding. It took me that long to notice it was even there. I'd say make it a little more opaque, or like add like a soft black background to it. One of these two things is bound to work, I can safely say that. But I did not see it until a good bit in. Correcting myself as I go, that's fun. When editing, I actually did see that there's a soft black background behind it, but it's so soft that you can't even see it right. Like, I had to zoom that clip in to see that it actually does have a background. It's just so transparent, it doesn't even look like it's there on my screen. That's weird. I've never had that happen to me before. This game has the most solid control scheme I've felt in a while. It doesn't require a mouse or use WASD, it uses your arrow keys, left shift, and left control. That's it. Holding down shift while driving throws you into a drift, and pressing control uses an item if you have one. I've spent most of my time in speed mode, so I mostly press this for the boost, but it's the item button. Is it easy to mix up the keys? Yes and no. When you're on autopilot, you won't notice, but when you're suddenly aware, you might press the wrong key, but that's the case with anything really. It's not gonna happen much to you. The handling in this game is perfect. It's not too heavy and not too light. You can turn with ease or you can drift when need be, but sometimes and with certain carts, you won't need to drift. You can just steer. But I'll explain why it helps to drift just a little bit later. There's also a steering assist you can use, but of course I didn't use it, so I was bumping everywhere. As is stated in the game's title and multiple times so far by me, you can drift and you are rewarded with it, but don't go thinking you can pull a Mario Kart and drift all the time, because it's almost impossible to. Drifting is a risk-reward system. You can drift when you want to, but one bad move and you'll go veering off course, or worse, into a wall. You can reverse out of this, but it's slow. Like, really slow. So make sure you drift when you're supposed to, because when you do, and you do it right, you're in a small boost at the end of it, and you work towards a boost that you can use later on. It's really satisfying when you drift just twice around 2 corners that need it, and you get that boost. It's a great feeling. Of course, getting to first place is a tough task because you have to also draft and use your boost wisely, which is easier said than done, but it's a lot easier to perfect drafting than drifting. Wow, these words are spelled very close to each other. I should probably fix that. Overall, this is a simple yet elaborate game, gameplay-wise. There's also 6 separate modes, 2 of them with team modes. You have Item, Speed, License, Create Custom, Join Custom, and Time Attack. Item and Speed modes have separate sub-modes where you can pick either to enable or disable matchmaking for solo, duos, or squads matches. I always play solo because I'm like the only one of my friends that actively plays kart racer still on PC. License mode is sort of a mission mode, and you can ignore it if you're just going to play item mode, but you need to play through these missions to earn speed mode, at least completing an intermediate license. This requirement is rather cumbersome, but it's a good lockout to protect the integrity and competitiveness of speed mode. I just wish they had kept it on until the official release. There's not much to say about the music, mostly because there's so few songs here, I can't say much. But just because there's not many doesn't mean the ones they give you aren't good. They're great! I just wish there was more. The music is sort of electronic with some pop rock elements here and there. It's a nice mixed bag in terms of the soundtrack. You also, of course, get the option to turn it off if you want to, which in retrospect I should have given the repetitive nature I wasn't expecting, but it is good and worth keeping on, at least for a while. I know I won't shut up about this, but it's just going to stay there as if it's nothing. But there's not much music here, and it's not track-based either. It picks one of like 3 tracks and plays it. It's not bad, and I can forgive it since the game is still unfinished, but it's just a little headache-inducing. Then again, not many people play it for nearly as long as I do. I honestly hope Nexon and Nitro Studios add more by the time it releases, otherwise just turn the music off. Now, as previously mentioned, this game is still in beta, and it has been for a while, but I can understand why. At the very least, I can reassure everyone that it isn't vaporware whatsoever. It's a game that exists and was playable. There are some things that I think need to be ironed out though, and since this is still in development, these aren't negatives, this is feedback. First off, that license lockout. If you don't have an intermediate license, you can't play the speed mode, which is perfectly fine in any other case. But during the closed beta, this is counterintuitive because matchmaking takes forever because of this. My average queue time, kid you not, was 2 minutes long. While it's nowhere near as bad as Crucible before it shut down, for reference that was an hour, I had enough time to grab something to drink while I waited and still had time to spare. This barrier drastically jacks up the queue time because nobody's gonna be able to put up with those stupid challenges and be able to just sit there and be okay with a 1 star. They're gonna want 3 stars, which good luck there. These are almost impossible sometimes. I spent half an hour just throwing balloons at one single spot at dummies just to get a few points. I did it, yeah, but it was irritating. Another thing I have beef with is this exploitation of the collisions, because in one stage, me and 6 other guys got lapped twice because some guy who pretty much cheated and hopped over the gate just lapped us twice and had the highest lap time there, or lowest in this case. I get this is a speedrunning method commonly used to slice lap times, but please leave this in single player games and do not touch multiplayer when you do this. I'm gonna be stank, I will absolutely be ticked, and this, oh god, this is just unfair. Nexon, please implement some sort of reporting feature for this. I can't stand this. Lastly, I should probably just toss a feature request out there, a menu button, please, or rebind the menu button at least. I know it seems useless, but trust me, on the main screen, instinct tells me to press escape to go to the menu, not F10. And since escape isn't bound to anything but F10 is, I would just like a menu button in one of the corners that clearly indicates that's where the menu is, not as a tooltip in the bottom left. It's trivial, I know, but it's useful. Believe me. This took way too long. I spent over a month trying to get the courage to finish this video. Overall, this game is showing a lot of promise, and this beta shows that they're not just withholding it to generate hype or anything. There's genuine work going on behind the scenes, and that's a great thing. This game is developer and publisher work together, and it's the best example we might ever see. Nexon and Etro Studios have really put together a great game so far, and I'm happy to say that we should hopefully see this fully released in about, let's say, about half a year's time. But I'm not going to hold my breath for the release because they've already delayed it for over 2 years. Let's hope that this one's going to be the last one.